Welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. I'm your host, Ezekiel Iferia, and today we are joined by Asim Kumar, a world-class network architect with every major certification, CCIE, CISSP, you name it. He spent 2 decades living a dual life, celebrated tech consultant by day, secretly blocked by fear and losing money in the financial markets by night. That expensive education taught him a paradox that now defines his work. You cannot fix a blocked mindset with faster technology. His new book, Unblocked, challenges leaders to stop chasing silver bullets and start developing what he calls real intelligence, empathy, discipline, and focus. Because without it, AI is just speed without direction. So, Asim, I am excited to welcome you to the show, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Ezekiel, for having me and then for the introduction. And I'm so looking forward to this. I know your STEM based podcast kind of attracted me too. I said, yeah, if I can share any of the experience that I've had over 32 years, that will be great. So you pretty much covered everything. Like, yes, I'm a tech consultant in network and security for last 32 years, serving B2B space, large enterprises and the government services as a contractor. And then for last 20 years, I've been delving into the financial markets. I'll give you the reason why, how I got into that, and then and currently how I got into writing the book finally, the book that mentioned by Ezekiel, Unblocked, the power of real intelligence in the era of AI, which I is all experiential learning, put it in a like a business manifesto format. It's not a textbook read. It is a manual that you can take for execution in your personal life or in your business. So 2002 was where I was on a fork of the road where this tech bubble was coming in, the dot com bubble, well known. I already had my uh, global certification that Ezekiel mentioned, the CCIE, and I had a master's degree. Life was great. And then came the tech bubble where all my colleagues and left and right were getting laid off. Some were just like me, and then some were even smarter than me and with more credentials than me. So I got into the personal insecurity like, okay, what good is all this education, like a master's level and a PhD in networking, pretty much? Then what good is it then when a market situation like this happens? Then you're left in the dust. Then I saw the greener pastures in the financial markets, and I took some professional training there to see how I can be successful there. Thinking, okay, I am very intelligent here. I've had this, so stock market will be easy. I was so wrong about that. So it took me so many trials and errors over the years to find consistency. And what I discovered was, yes, a block mindset cannot be fixed by a faster technology in terms of technical trading and analysis or whatever is required. And then we went through this 2008 financial crisis. I had enrolled in an MBA program. That's when I got my MBA during that mess, 2008 and 2009 timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was considering going into, like I mentioned, into the financial industry to pursue my CFA, Certified Financial Analyst. And in the middle of all that, the financial crisis happened. And then I realized maybe my greener postures are in the tech space. That was my bread and butter. And I stayed put with that. And I said, okay, well, I'll keep it as the side hustle or as far as the trading and learning and the financial market is concerned, because it did teach me a lot of personal issues that were coming out that I had not realized as a technical guy. That's what I mentioned about the book is, and that's what transforms into real intelligence is the emotional blockages around being patient, being disciplined, and being focused. And one of the biggest gremlins I discovered was the ego that comes in being a high tech person that doesn't work well in the financial markets. So you had to let go the ego, and then based on that success in the tech space, and then not being so successful in the financial space, created a lot of self doubt in me. So that was a mental toll that nobody sees, but internally I was asking question, why is this happening to me? I am doing well here, but why I cannot translate into this other arena, and I'm just struggling. And then that loss of confidence crept in and loss of energy crept in. So all those byproducts basically lead me to self discovery. And I started learning other things around neuro-linguistic programming, some occult sciences. I was looking for answers. Like, why is happening to me? Like, an intelligent guy like me with all these credentials should not be going through this. And I was asking those questions. In that journey, that's where I realized, yeah, it's the energy management I need to focus on, and then patience and discipline were my two biggest challenges that I really needed to harp on. And then now with COVID, in 2020, that was my third setback, right? Where everybody was getting laid off again. And then that's when I really started writing the book. I was starting putting the frameworks in 2020, and then I stopped. Market kind of recovered. And then as of last year, when this scare came in, like, oh yeah, we will lose jobs. And again, 16,000, 20,000, those were the numbers coming up. I saw up close and personal again, my friends, highly credentialed, highly motivated, hard workers getting laid off again. That's when I decided, okay, now I need to get this book out. So that's the last year was my whole goal was to bring it to bear and start this message out and take a little different direction for myself, not just B2B and B2G. I wanted to go global. I say this is. I'm sure there are people not just in US, and they're going to be suffering everywhere. This AI scare is global, pretty much, just like the dot com and other uh, crises were back in 2008. So I got this book out because I have business development experience as well, where a lot of the sales taxes are fear based. So that's where I came up with stop buying the fear and then start building the future tagline for the message. So that is in the nutshell my journey, Ezekiel, and I'll take a breather and wait for your next question from here.
All right. It has been a really great time listening to your journey so far. It sounds like a really fascinating one indeed. So you draw a powerful parallel. You know, the fear that makes a trader panic sell is the same fear that makes a CTO panic buy technology during a crisis. So what does fear look like in the boardroom versus a trading floor, and why do people think they are different?
Well, again, that is all emotions based. So it doesn't matter which sector it is. So my journey has been balanced between a tech sector and financial. Financial is more emotionally driven. Definitely. So the challenges on the tech sectors are they are like more aggressive. They are more outcome based. If we don't go faster, we will be out of the market. The competitor will beat us. So those are the factors there. Again, in financial market, the fear is it's the shortcuts, right? I want to make money now, or it's going to be never, right? So they're chasing money there, and then they're chasing the competition. So those are the parallels that I see. That's where in my book I did start with the three pillar approach for around people, process, and technology. So that has the human part in there, and then there is the technical part in there, and then the process that ties it together. So if you have to take a look at it as a three-legged stool. So what happens in the tech sector is the focus is more on tech. Let's buy this tech and then things will work. I have not seen that. What gets left behind is the people part and the process. They don't even ask the question, do we have the people trained and do we have the processes that need to be tweaked? They just throw out technology, and 95% of the time their digital transformations don't succeed. That is the reason. So that's one of the messages in my book is you have to look at the three dimensions. That the sweet part is if you balance this two, the middle of the section where you have a balanced technology, people, and process is your success sweet spot. So
Mhm.
so that is one of the core messages around for the enterprises and for the entrepreneurs to start with the people. And same goes in financial market. It's all starts here. The real intelligence is right here. So you have to have the balance between your left brain and the right brain. And that's how my book is designed as well. Is left side is your logical, technical brain, and right side is your more creative, judgmental brain. And with the fear of AI is all technology. It's an amplifier. So if your environment is in a mess, AI is going to create the mess much bigger, much faster, unless you are balancing it with your people and the process is in place. So that is the message from the book.
Okay. So your core message is that AI needs real intelligence, empathy, discipline, focus to actually, be useful. So for a leader who is drowning in new tech tools and terrified of being left behind, what's the very first question they should ask themselves before actually buying anything else?
Yeah, so it is an assessment portion. So part of our service, it's mentioned in the books, is ADD, not the attention deficit disorder. It's the assessment, design, and deliver. So the question that you were asking is about the assessment. So assessment goes is about your business environment, and on the personal side, a personal assessment of your own operating system. That's where I take it from my financial journey. So my ePDF creation was around energy, patience, discipline, and focus. So that's where I would start. And part of this, the book writing, I came up with a coaching app as well, which is based on all the models from the book, which has like a free assessment tool built in it around ePDF. So you can take an assessment there from your energy levels, how you deal with patients, and how you deal with discipline and focus, and see where you are. And it will give you a scaled map for your personal operating. That's why I call it discover your own personal operating system, so that you can see where you are today, and then what you need to build on based on the frameworks I talk about, like a focus and how to rethink work. That is one of the primary thing.
All right. So you created the easier methodology for modernization. So, without getting too technical, what's the one letter, in that acronym that most companies skip entirely, and why does skipping it actually doom the whole process?
Well, it won't be like it. It depends on the company, and it's not like a universal thing. The two important things in those easier methodology are one is the I, which relates to the AI. Also, the I is the intelligent. Your infrastructure needs to be intelligent, which is the AI piece, and that's where I tie in the AI plus RI equation. So that's where the total intelligence comes in. That combines your artificial intelligence and your real intelligence. That's a total, which is your intellect, IQ, and then EQ, the emotional quotient. So that's the combination. So that if you ask me one, that would be that I. The other important piece in today's world is security, the S.
Hmm.
So security is seen as a stopgap, like it disrupts the business from moving fast. And so the message in the book is around security be seen as the business enabler, not like a disabler. And especially AI has a black box problem, like you just say something and it does it for you. You don't even know what's going on in the background. So security becomes even more important from that point. How would human will judge, and how would you know that the solution you're buying into is secure in a black box form.
All right, that was really insightful. So, let's talk about the 2008 crash. After that, you realized that managing your, ePDF, patience, discipline, focus, was the real difference between building wealth and actually losing it. So, for someone in a high pressure tech role, how do you actually practice those things daily?
Yeah, so what I learned, like I was none of those things, right? The discipline and focus, that's something I thought I was doing. Yeah, I was able to get those credentials. So there had to be focus at some point, right? But not on a consistent basis. So that's where, if I was not consistent in tech, that's where I could not find consistency in financial markets. So what that taught me to do was come up with it's a formation of new habits, because the habits that I had in tech side do not really work on the financial sides. So from a discipline perspective, I had to cultivate more habits that were more aligned with that profession. And that led to some rituals in the morning, getting up. It doesn't matter you wake up at 5, 6, or 7, just stick to a time or range where you can be consistent every day. So those little things like that, and some other rituals around, like breathing is one of the things I learned from staying calm perspective, so that when you are in a adrenal rush format, you can stay focused that way. And then focus was another big one that has two meanings. It has a whole chapter in the book. Focus stands for finding opportunity, creating unlimited success. So that's an acronym. So that's what I came up with, because focus, I would focus, let's say when you're taking an exam, right? You're studying last 2, 3 days. That's where you are really focused. But to focus for this one was like you need to be consistently doing. So the one of the messages I put in the book is, you cannot chop wood with a blunt axe. So you need to sharpen the axe to be successful. So finding opportunities, creating unlimited success came from finding the right opportunities from a stock selection and the right strategy and all that. So I had to basically narrow my focus, not trying to do thousands of strategies here and there, come up with my niche and go from there to find consistency. So that's where I would line up the two.
So you studied NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and later saw its echo in NLP for natural language processing of AI. So how did that connection between human programming and machine programming shift your understanding of both?
Yeah, so I would say it was a coincidence, because natural
Mm,
language programming I was not even introduced to, even though I'm familiar, because I'm not a programmer. I was in the networking space. So this NLP was part of my business development, where we do a lot of sales training and all that. So that's where that neuro-linguistic programming came in. I thought maybe that would be because I was in training as well. So it helps there. Then the AI focus came in 2 years later, where natural language programming is used. So that's how I was like, it's kind of funny. They're two distinct subjects, but acronyms are the same, and they are all about programming. One is the mind programming, other one is the language programming. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was not a programmer, and I mentioned about my coaching app. So with this learning journey around the AI side, I figured like, yeah, vibe coding came up. I researched a couple of platforms on that, and I said, okay, let me see as a non-programmer, what can I do? So I built a coaching app in like 1 week. So that's the power of AI. So if you put your mind to it, you can do it as a non-tech person as well.
all right. So for the engineers and leaders in our audience who feel blocked in their own careers or their thinking, what's one small but honest question they can ask themselves to start identifying the real obstacle?
Yeah. So like you can see with the way the AI is coming, every day you are learning, finding that there's a new version of XGPT coming or cloud coming and all that, that can get overwhelming. So for the upcoming, I wrote this book as if I was talking to my 30-year self, right? That's where I first felt insecure when you have these credentials, you have all this, and then you're getting that .com bubble. So you have to think what else is possible. So at that time, my possibility was let's delve into financial markets. Now, if somebody is coming up, okay, I've spent so many years in tech and now I might lose my job. There is always going to be somewhere you can explore. So that's where you have to be unblocked around your thinking is what else is possible that something you have not done. So one of the things is the fear factor is in the beginning of the book, the quote that I live by is from Eleanor Roosevelt. Look fear in the face and do the thing that you think that you cannot do. That opens up the art of the possible, right? So if you're going to just get fearful and scared, you will not be able to think other options. So the real message from my book is you are the solution architect of your life. So you can design how so you want to. Nobody is going to do anything to you. It's the you who needs to bring out the best out of you by thinking broadly and see what's possible and then find what else can work for you.
All right. So, when you look at the rise of AI agents and vibe coding, as they all call it these days, what's your honest take? Are we headed towards a future where technical skills become obsolete or something more nuanced?
Yes. So that brings it to another chapter in my book how you have to rethink work.
Mm,
Work again is an acronym willing to obtain real knowledge. So that points to being adaptable. And that's exactly my previous answer was around art of the possible, right? What else is possible?
mhm.
And how can you be more adaptable? And in order to do that, you have to have the willingness to keep learning new stuff. And then work breakdown is the hard work versus smart work. So hard work by definition is writing code, thousands and lines of code that we used to write, the programmers back then. And now that is gone, right? To your point on wipe coding. So that's translating into a smart work. So I'll expand those two. They're also acronyms. Is happy, attitude, rigor, and discipline. So as long as you have a happy attitude and then have the rigor and discipline, we touched upon discipline before, and the rigor
Mhm.
is doing the things that needed to be done in order to get the outcome. So not from a fearful mindset but from an open mindset, which is the smart mindset. Smart is not the smart goals one, by the way. Smart is study, master, then apply, then revise, then track. That's the smart part. So you have to be studying. So it's basically the message is to be a continuous learner, and then what you study, and then with focus, master a couple of things in there, and then apply. Don't just keep on studying. That's how I sometimes I used to question myself. I have all these certification and all that. Am I even using everything? Right? So so that's the one. And then you find your niche where you are more comfortable with, and then you get the best ROI from there. So you have to rethink work. That's the definition I expanded for you on those two.
All right. That was a truly insightful response, Asim. So, lastly, for our listeners who want to, go start doing the inner work and get unblocked. So, where is the best place for them to go start with your book or your coaching app, or perhaps maybe just connect with you to have a conversation?
Yeah, so the main place would be my company's website, avignallc.com. Again, Avigna, my company name, means remover of obstacles. And
Mm.
my company's job is to find solutions and enable success. So that's the mantra I live by. And I say I am Avigna because that's the name I came up with that meaning, remover of obstacles, from getting you from blocked to unblocked. So the website would be a place, and the coaching app is part of the website. And then you can go directly going coaching.avigna avignallc.com. I will spell Avigna for you. It's AVI. And then
Mhm.
you can read more about me there. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Insta, and I'm on YouTube. You can search by my name, Asim.Avigna. You won't miss that. Uh,
All right, Asim, it has been such an insightful conversation with you here today, and I am excited having you as a guest on the show.
Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity. And then for all the younger crowd and from the generation that I'm in, this is the time where you have to start rethinking, become more adaptable, because take that message, you own it. You are the solution architect of your own life. Thank you.